Okay, hi, I'm back. Sorry about that. I have no idea how my phone rotated when it never lets you rotate once you're on. So I'm not sure what happened there, but we're back. Looks like we're up and running again. All right, so this is the Take a Pick tool, in case you were wondering what the heck I was talking about. It can be found on page 151 of our annual catalog. It is the very first thing. It is only $14 and it has many pieces and parts. It's a really handy tool, especially, well, for me, I don't have nails, so it's really helpful to have this pick end as my nails, or even the putty end. So it's got two ends. It comes with two, so you'll see a little, I don't know if you can see that, there's a lock symbol and an unlock. So in order to take it out, you just turn it and it comes out. So you've got a cover, and then you've got this little mini spatula on one side. You've got the pick on the one side, and then you've got the two styluses, the small and the big stylus. And these two go into the smaller end, and you just find the spot where it goes in and then just rotate it to lock it. So that's that side. And then on this side, so it comes with two of these. They're filled with putty. And so if you can see, there are, it spins. And so it stops right here because that's where I hit the putty. If I wanted, like, this putty is old and not so sticky, so I'll just take that off. And then I'll just rotate it a little bit, and you can see it's coming out. Now you don't want to rotate it too much because it takes, like, see, I rotated it too much because now it's all coming out. But I usually just kind of squish it down anyways, and it works. And once it's empty, all you have to do is unscrew it, and it pulls out, and then you can put the next one in. And you can purchase refills of the putty. They come in a pack of two, and they are $4.75. There is also another piece that you can put onto your Take a Pick tool. It is the die brush tip. So in old days, we had a separate brush. This was Stampin' Up's brush previously. Now they have a tip that you can just, this screws on to the end of this, so you're not dealing with more pieces and parts. I believe I have one somewhere, but I still use my old brush, and I'm not sure where it is, to be honest. I need to do some cleaning and reorganizing. So anyways, the 2-pack of putty refills, I think I said $4.75, and then the die brush tip is $12.25 if you want to add that on. And I think the die brush comes with the foam. Yeah, it comes with 2 foam pads to be able to brush your pieces out of your dies. Okay, so those are all the pieces. Now, what do you do with it? Set this aside here. Okay, so for the pick end, it is great for things like, of course I don't have, let me find it here, with your dimensionals. So say it was stuck onto your project, you can take it off, but once it's stuck onto the project, it pulls the back end. So if you've got lots of like little mini dimensionals, where's some minis? Been using dimensionals like crazy. So like, you know, if you've got 10 mini dimensionals on your project, it's so easy to go and pick the pieces off instead of peeling each one. And like you see, because I don't have nails, it makes it easy, but it also, even if you have nails, sometimes it's hard if your nails are longer to do that. So that's one of the things you can do. I will show you as I work on the projects. They're great for picking up embellishments. So these are just rhinestones. You could use the spatula end, which I used to do, but then I found they got stuck on the spatula. So I find if I just use the Take a Pick end and then just put it onto my project, that works really well. It is great for poking holes even. So say I wanted to pass a ribbon through something, you can just, I think you, in my last video, actually, so you can make it as big or as, you know, as, obviously this is kind of the biggest you would go, but if you don't have a punch for holes for ribbon or string, you can always use your Take-A-Pick tool. If you have a foam pad, you can use the foam pad to poke your holes too. That works. So that's your pick end. So for your mini spatula end, this I use the most with my clear blocks, and let me just, they work, so I use it mostly with cling stamps, especially when they're new. Some people put like a piece of washi tape or something on the end, just so, because our cling stamps are so sticky, sometimes they're hard to remove from the block, and you can tear the foam from the rubber if you pull too hard. So this is a brand new stamp I'm going to put down, and oh, sometimes I haven't used it, so pretend I use it, and then oh, it's stuck down and I don't want to break it. So for me, the easiest thing is just to take my little spatula and try and get it under that sticker, and then it's much easier to peel once you just get that little piece of sticker going. So if you don't want to stick something on the edge of your stamps, which I don't, once you get them going, usually you have that spot, but it helps just kind of get under. So as you can imagine, it helps you get under anything. So say you get a dimensional in the wrong place on your project. I did show last week that for dimensionals, the easiest way is to twist them, but for any adhesive really, if you can get under with your spatula, you can get it back up. What else? You can use it for embellishments. It's also great with our gilded leafing, just to kind of lay it out to pick it up, because they're bigger pieces, so it's better, like you can't really use the pick or the putty, so that one works well with the gilded leafing. So that's those two ends. So now if you're using the stylus, you can use it obviously to emboss, but it's great even for scoring. I have some, if we're doing a project where you need some score lines, like say you're building a box or something, and someone doesn't have a score blade for their trimmer, or maybe they don't have a trimmer, you can actually just take a ruler and find where, I'm just gonna pretend my line needs to be here, and you can just take your stylus. Now this is the bigger end, so I probably want the smaller just because I'm just doing it on my hard surface. And I don't know if you can see that, but you get your line. Now it's not very deep. If you wanted a deeper line, you would want to take a piece of foam, like your foam mat, whatever you have that can give you a little bit of softness, and then go in and score it. And then that allows you to score your line. And you can do it that way without having a scoring blade. So those, I assume, maybe I shouldn't assume that you know how to emboss with it. So another option is, where is my, you can take like your masks or a die cut, and you can, this is the small, I want the smaller one. So the more detail, obviously you'd want a smaller one. If you had less detail, you could use a bigger one. But again, you'd want to use a foam mat because you need that. And you can just go around. So you could do this with die cuts. You could do it with any mask. You can do it freehand. Okay, and I don't know if you can see that, but I have a subtle snowflake on there. So that's your stylus, but you could also use your stylus. So if you even take like a refill here and you put a drop of ink, you can use it to kind of paint it on if you want some dots on your paper. That works really well. And if you, I don't think we sell the shimmery paint anymore, but if you have some paint, it works really well for dots with that. Or even if you want to use the Versamark or your inks, whatever, you could use Versamark and make dots with that, and then put some embossing powder on. You could also draw with it with the ink. Many things you can do with the stylus end. That just gives you an idea of the few. I'm keeping my pick because that's the one I use the most. And then with the putty, so the putty is very helpful in picking up, oh, I forgot to put it out, hang on. There. So if you have sequins, it's great for picking up sequins. I'm sure you've seen me do that before. So if you just want the one sequin and you put a glue dot down, makes it nice and easy to pick up, you know, like, oh, I want a white one. Well, let's find a white one. And like, you know, trying to dig with your hands, it's hard to get the ones that you want. So that makes it really easy for that. It makes you, if you have like little pieces of paper, which I will be doing in my project, it's great for picking that up. And even to, like, if this was a smaller piece of paper, here, let's use this. And if I wanted to put some glue, like if it was even smaller than this, and then stick it down, it helps keep your hands nice and clean. Yeah, so sky's the limits. Get creative as you want, but it's a really handy tool to have. I use mine all the time. It is not something that sits unused in my craft room. So if you find yourself struggling with any of those things, the Take a Pic tool is a must for you. All right, let's move on to our fun little projects that I have for today. I'm going to be making gnomes since it's almost Christmas. I did not invent this. I cased it from Jay Sariano. He is another Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. He created these. So it is a bit of a punch / die art. So you use the strawberry builder punch. And here I've used the Christmas tree dies, which are sold out, unfortunately. But there's lots of like there's a tree punch, there's other trees. So I'm sure if you've got some trees in your stash, you can come up with the same kind of fun stuff. So this is one of the trees. This is using red foil paper. This is another one of the Christmas trees. So one's a skinny gnome and one's a fat gnome. I cut them all out of foil, but I'm just gonna show you if you don't have foil. Oh, I didn't realize it was, I don't think my blends will color this side. Anyways, I'll try. I thought I could just use it instead of, I should have cut out some paper ones. So in case you don't have foil, I wanted to show you how to color it and get kind of a similar shiny look. So then for the larger beard, for the fatter gnome, this piece is off of the Christmas tree dies. It's this one. We're also going to use these baubles for their noses. So this is where the Take a Pic tool comes into play. And we find these little circles. We'll have one. Where's another one? I have a whole bunch. Because it cuts out a whole bunch when you cut out one set, which is nice. Why? I don't, oh, here's one. Okay. So those are the noses. And then from the strawberry builder punch, we have the leaf. And that's going to be the skinny guy's beard. And then we've got the stem. Oh, see, can't pick things up. I need my take a pick tool. So then you've got the strawberry topper, and that's going to be the mustache for the fat gnome. And I think that is all I need. Yes. Okay. And then to make some nice noses and to color the hats. So for the nose, you're going to take Petal Pink, which is kind of a nice kind of skin blush tone, and then the light Real Red, because we need kind of a rosy nose. It is Christmas. So again, you can take your Take a Pick tool if you want to hold it down and give it a color. It's kind of the perfect gnome color. And then we'll take our Real Red and I'm just going to put like a little line and let it blend, and just go back in with the Petal Pink and kind of get the rosy nose going. Okay, so his noses are done, and then for his mustache, you're gonna use the part that goes across. So you're just gonna kind of cut in. And because I'm right-handed, I'm doing it all from the right. It makes it easier. Okay, so we're gonna use that as his mustache. So then we just have to trim off the stem here. If I can, my eyes are playing tricks on me. Okay, so there's his mustache. And then for the hats, you just want to trim the stems. Okay, so if you don't have red foil paper, let's see if this will work on here. I don't know if it'll blend or not. Let's see. So this is Real Red, and then I have dark Cherry Cobbler. So again, here I could use my tool to hold it down and not get my fingers all dirty. And then I'm going to go in with the light Cherry Cobbler. I don't think it's going to blend very well. It's not soaking into the paper. Sorry. But I'm giving you the colors and you can do it on paper. Here's the, and then you would just go back with your light Real Red and blend it in if it was blending. But obviously, this is a kind of a shiny backing. It's not really blending well, but you can see anyways, you would get kind of that look using your different shades of red to get kind of a shining look. So yeah, so that was light Real Red, light Cherry Cobbler, and then dark Cherry Cobbler if you're coloring it in instead of using foil. And then the nose was Petal Pink and light Real Red. So then you've got those, and then all you have to do, so I'm just gonna, you want to cover your, especially if you have the pick end, you want to make sure it's covered when you're using the putty end. Otherwise, you'll probably poke yourself. So then I've got my glue, and I've got my nose, and you can just put a dot of glue wherever you want your nose, and then put your nose down. And then I'm just gonna put some glue here on my hat. I think I put my nose a little too low. Anyways, get the idea. And then just stick his hat down. And there's your skinny gnome. And then for this one, we're going to put some glue again. See, again, sometimes it's easier to have this glue. Oh, there must be an air bubble in my glue. It keeps just, it's coming out fast. Okay, so there's too much glue, but that's okay. I didn't get it on my hands because I used my pick tool. And then just put a dab on his nose, and right on the top of the mustache. Oops, lower down here. Okay, and then he will have his hat. Yeah, it's just, I'm not even squeezing it and it's just flying out. So I'm gonna have a bit of a messy glue here, but get the idea. So there you've got your fatter gnome and your skinnier gnome. I don't know if I should call them fat and skinny, but big and small. So those are the cute little gnomes. And then, so here is the skinny gnome. So cute. So I used the shimmery paper for their beards and mustache, just to give it a little sparkle, because I mean it's all shiny. If you are just coloring it in and you want it to have that shine, you could add your Wink of Stella to this also. And then I ran a piece of basic white through the Big Boss, and it's the Wintry 3D embossing folder, so the pines, so it gives it a little extra texture, and then just the black cardstock with white embossing powder. Isn't that like super simple? But oh, gnomes are so in right now, super cute. So I just thought that was adorable. And then for the fatter gnome, I embossed the snowflakes from the, where did they go now? From the mask. These, this is one of the masks. It's in our holiday mini that's about to retire. So that you can tell it's well used. It's got paste all over it. So you could emboss it using your stylus, but you can also emboss it. So I don't think so there's supposed to be an embossing piece that you can add to your Big Boss, but it's never actually, I don't think it's ever come in stock. So there are older ones, but there is a trick you can use to emboss it even if you don't have that. So if you've got your plate, you would put your silicone mat down, put your piece of paper on top, right? No. I can't remember now. I think it's the paper, and then your snowflakes. I need you need your cutting. So number 1, number 3, silicone. Let me see. I'm going to try it right now so I don't tell you wrong, because now I can't remember. I just did this. My brain is just not working. Lack of sleep. Okay. So I'm just going to, sorry, I'm not going to do it on camera. I'm just going to see. So I have this plate, silicone, paper, mask and then your 3D embossing plate. And we'll run it through. I think I have a feel, yeah, so that works. So your paper in between the silicone and the mask, and then you get that nice embossed snowflake. So you don't even have to have an embossing folder. You can turn your decorative masks into an embossing folder, which is kind of cool. It's not as deep as like a 3D embossing folder, but it still does a good job. So I just cut out the letters with the playful alphabet letters that we have in the annual catalog. I used the adhesive sheets behind so it pops them up, and then I just added my little gnome dude on top. So again, super simple card, but it just pops. I really like it. So hopefully you learned how to use your Take-A-Pic tool if you have one, and hopefully you use it. It is, oh, you know what? I did not, there's one more thing it is super handy for that I didn't show you because I didn't do it on camera, but when you're heat embossing, if your paper, you can do the same thing as when you're doing glue. You can just stick it on the paper. This is a big piece of paper, but if you have two Take-A-Pic tools, you can do it. But if you're using a little sentiment like this, you can totally do it, and then you can use your heat tool and not burn your fingers. So yet another use for it. So anyways, those are the projects for today. Hopefully you like them. I will not be live next week. It's Christmas. So I'm taking a break next week, but hopefully I will be posting some new projects from the new catalog. I hope you guys all have a very Merry Christmas and a good New Year's, and we will see you in the new year with fun new projects. Take care. Bye.